We live in the one of the fruit capitals of the world, and prunes were like a big thing for the start of our valley.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. By the way, so wait, Del Monte started in this area, right?
Del Monte started here.
Who here is familiar with Del Monte? We have an international array of amazing audience members here. Who here is familiar with Del Monte fruits? Oh my God, there's a hard-time job.
Because someone,
Derica
mentioned our digital stories. Mostly bananas.
Derek, are you mostly bananas? Derek, are you still at East West? I gotta get my butt down there. East West players.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah, nothing to be sorry about.
Our digital stories is still going, so they did one really recently.
We did 2-3 weeks ago on a Thursday. Oh, okay. So Melly G is familiar with
the canned fruits.
The canned fruits, and so that the canning.
Mm-hmm.
The technology. Okay, yeah. See, Sam's getting excited. The technology for canning.
How much has he retained from hearing me teach children this information?
The technology for canning had existed, but it wasn't as good as it is now, except when it was done here, right? Because it used to be transported in jars. Mm-hmm. And as you know, long transportation on trains with jars means that you're going to lose some product. And so what they started doing is they had tin, and that's all I know.
That was really close.
How did they seal it? Oh, hey, Squeegee Scott.
So basically, there was this guy, Dr. Dawson, and Dr. Dawson started canning in his backyard, and then after that, he rented a garage, and then he had to rent a bigger garage and a bigger garage. And everybody canned in glass jars until he found somebody who figured out how to solder closed tin cans. Now that guy's name, I forget. But
dang, history was not kind on that dude.
No, because that was the guy who actually invented the technology that allowed the canning industry to really blow up. Mm-hmm. But it was the fact that Dr. Dawson found him, paid him, and started using that technology that really made that technology useful worldwide. Mm-hmm. And by the end of 6 years, Dr. Dawson was putting out 6.6 million cans, making him the biggest fruit cannery in the world. And I believe that was 1890 something. But yeah,
the 1800s were is that the height of the industrial age?
There's an industrial revolution, and then shortly afterwards, there's a second industrial revolution.
Because I just feel like there was so much. Well, maybe it's the forms of documentation changed around then, because there was just so much detailed documentation about what was happening during the time and all that, huh? Persona! Yo, shout out to Squeegee Scott. Hi, buddy. Squeegee Scott's Colin from Shizus Matsumoto.
Oh,
hi, Colin. Hi, bud.
Colin.
Hope you're well. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thanks for the follow, random guy.
What is that? 10 million?
I'm not gonna count.
That's a lot of zeros. Hi, random guy. 100000000. Welcome to the tribe of many pieces. Grace your lips. I know. Maddum's great with these facts because it's part of what they do, which means you got to throw $2.
What?
No, just kidding. I love that about canning. I mean, I can't think of anything. Canning hasn't changed all that much, has it?
No, not a ton.
Labeling, yes, but not.
Yeah, the label, because now there's laws about how you label things. So we have, so I work for a museum. That's why I know all the history things. And it's a museum that's specifically focused on the history of San Jose. So they've made laws about what you have to put on a label now,
Well, the nutrition facts,
the weight, things like that. But
and a fun anecdote.
Previously, they didn't have those laws. So when labels started being a thing, they would be like, all right, we're going to market this to women. And what do women like? Women like babies. So we're going to put a baby on the front of this can. And you'd have to literally read the can to be like, what the hell is in here? Because when we had glass jars, you'd be able to look in it and be like, that's a peach. I know that.
So they had babies in tin cans?
No, they didn't. That's the confusing thing. They would put a baby on the front of the can to be like, women like babies. And then people would be like, but what's in here? And it's like, shh, 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 Don't worry about it. You have to read to like figure out that it was pears. Stupid. So, you know, obviously they've made laws about like how you label your can so that
it's not misleading.
Yeah. We also like to claim that we are the inventors of the fruit cocktail. So,
is there truth in that? Oh, with the fruit cocktail, as in like the can.
The specific mix of fruits known as the fruit cocktail.
Many a Filipino will know gets used in ambrosia.
What if you couldn't read? At this point in the United States, most people, I want to say most people would be able to read. So by the time we were doing canning in jars, that would be like the turn of the century, the early 1900s, and there was a movement towards public education in the mid to late 1800s that would have made it so that most people would have a rudimentary sense of reading. However, putting a drawing on your can that is a drawing of a pear would be much better.
Easier to understand, less miscommunication, and like body language, easy, you know, you can trust that most cultures that were reading it, looking at it, and consuming it would actually get it.
Well, because the Valley of Heart's Delight, which is where we live, San Jose is a part of the Valley of Heart's Delight, which is now known as the Silicon Valley, was famous all around the world for its fruits. So you would be selling things in other nations. Mm-hmm. And one of the ways you would make sure that it stays good enough is that you would can it. So yeah, putting a drawing of a pear instead of a baby would be an excellent idea.
Fruit cocktail is one of my favorite canned fruit. Oh man. When they used to have that, when you would make it so cold that the syrup was nice and like chilled, that was one of my favorites too. That was so good.
Well, one of the first Thanksgivings.
Why not shape the can like a pear?
I love that. I love that idea. One of the first Thanksgivings that you and I hosted for my family, we did the ambrosia salad that your mom makes because I was like, this is basically what my ancestors in like the Midwest would have made if they had access to coconut. So
right. And well, coconut and condensed milk.
Condensed milk they had.
They had. Okay, yeah. So coconut and like there were a couple heart of palm?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing that we add to ours.
Yeah, so
heart of palm, yeah.
It was basically like an ambrosia salad that my Midwest ancestors would have been like, cans and sweet. Good.
We'll call it a salad.
That we have in common just with different fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What a mash.
Yeah.
What a hot mash.
A hot mash.
That's some really great facts about canning. Thank you.
Well, and the one that I also was thinking of is Sunsweet, which also started in a similar time period to Del Monte. And they're the ones who really do prunes. And Sunsweet was a cooperative. So unlike Dr. Dawson, who just had...
Sunsweet?
Yeah, Sunsweet.
Are they still around?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yep. But they pretty much only do prunes. They do like prunes and apricots.
Wow.
Yeah. So Dr. Dawson was working basically on his own, right? It's his company.
Uh-huh.
The San Jose Fruit Packing Company, which eventually became Del Monte. But Sunsweet was like a cooperative of farmers. So they didn't all have enough to do canning on their own.
Mm-hmm.
But they like pooled their resources together, and they're still a cooperative now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Are they... And wait... You may not know this. Sunkissed?
Sunkissed is not from our area. I don't think.
Probably not as big as Del Monte, right? They're like...
I don't know. I'd have to look that up.
Millie just says also from the Midwest, sort of. Western Pennsylvania originally. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, I'm California born and raised, but my ancestors...
Your ancestors?
My ancestors.
Grabbing the point?
Well, my mom's side of the family would have been from the Midwest. The Italian side of my family actually came to San Francisco first. So, you know, when I was growing up and watching Italians in media, especially Italian Americans, it was all like, hey, I'm walking here. What about forget about it? Eh.
Well, it's very specifically New York.
Exactly. That's my point. So, like, my reference point for Italian Americans is all
wonky.
Not me.
Well, and none of them were Sicilian, maybe?
No,
Some of them were Sicilian, but they just got lumped into that like New York
mobbed.
Man.
But no, my great grandfather was a fishmonger.
I love that.
He monged those fish.
He monged them fish?
Yeah.
I feel like I would have gotten along with them, maybe. I don't know.